Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 3 of Sports Night. Welcome into everybody. I am Walt from Mouse Talk, and we are back with, I think tonight is going to be a really fun episode. Of course, Major League Baseball's opening day was this week, and all the teams have now played at least 1 to 2 games, and we are flying high in the baseball season, which I know for both myself and Steve, we are extremely happy about. And obviously, I want to introduce my partner in crime, my YouTube partner channel, Steve's World. Steve, welcome in, bud.
Thank you, sir. It is great to be here as always. And yeah, I'll definitely be your partner in crime any day. I'm pretty pleased that we are partner channels. So gonna have some fun tonight. It's gonna be great.
It is. It really is. Look, with any sport, when the sport first comes, starts, the opening day, the opening week, what have you. What's the one thing everybody does? Prognosticators always do predictions. And we're no different. We have our predictions on the season. And we're going to break it down really, really in depth. We're going to go through each division, and we're going to rank our teams from worst to best in each division. We'll give you our division winners, our wild card teams, our playoff teams, and we'll just kind of break it all down till we get down to our World Series champions. And then after that, we'll also go over our MVPs, Cy Young, and Rookie of the Year predictions. So it's going to be a really good time tonight, Steve. Don't you think?
Absolutely. How much more fun can you have than sitting around on a weekend talking baseball with a friend? So
it's true. It's true.
And those in the chat too, please give us your thoughts and ideas while we're doing this as well. We want to hear what you guys think.
Absolutely. And I always say to folks, welcome in first off the Lucky Minute, Lisa, everybody, welcome in Nacho Mujiga. I hope I said that right. I appreciate everybody coming in. We really appreciate it. We're a little bit different tonight. Saturday nights are about sports. Hey, what's up, Richard R. Johns? Welcome in. Chris, welcome in. Good to see everybody. Glad you're all over here. Thank you, Dan, for sending them in. Hopefully you guys will stay. We're talking something a little bit different than Disney tonight. We're talking sports. Hey, Brian, welcome in, buddy. Braves for the win. Well, we're gonna get into the Braves. Don't worry about that. We're gonna talk about the Braves for sure. Well, the Lucky Minute, I'm just glad you're here. Don't worry. We're gonna have a good time. And the one thing I'll say, and I think I can speak for Steve, hopefully, is we have a passion for sports. We love sports probably almost as much as we love Disney. And we thought it would be kind of a change of pace for those coming in for the first time. We do our Disney streams. Steve, you're going to talk about yours in just a second before we get started. But I appreciate everybody coming in here. And you're right, R. Johns, the Orioles won today. Yes, sir. Woohoo!
Boo.
Steve, go ahead, real fast. Go ahead and plug your channel before we get started, and then we'll get going.
Yeah. So we just recently, when Meg went to Tanzania, we decided to start kind of filling in for her a couple times, just see how it went. Got a lot of love and support from everybody, and we greatly appreciate that. Starting to get a lot more comfortable with this. Really enjoying it. So I think we've been on 2 weeks now. We're starting to stream on Monday nights, and we just joined the live place. So go make sure you check out Dean and Dreamers Empire and www.theliveplace.com. He's up to 38 people supporting, including Walt and Melissa from Mouse Talk. So make sure you guys check out them. But on Monday nights, we're talking about a lot of different things. I would love for people to give me ideas for the name of a show. Right now, Rob Fuzz gave me a name of Monday Night Madness, which is pretty nice because we're not going to just talk about only Disney. It'll be 85% Disney probably, but we have a lot of different things planned. And this week we're moving on to we're in the middle of a 128 Disney song bracket challenge. Yep. And we will be on the second half of round 1. So it'll be Monday night at 8 o'clock.
Nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. Yes, everybody, if you haven't already, I'm sure mostly everybody in here has already, but please go out to Steve's World channel, watch his videos, really great videos, lots of fun stuff. Very creative stuff as well. And please subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. He's a great partner channel. We're lucky to have him. And we're going to have great times with this. We really are. For those who are in the chat, Brian, R. Johns, welcome in. John, welcome in. Hazelton, Kay, welcome in. Glad you're here. Chris, I think we already said. Dougie, welcome in, buddy. Appreciate everybody being here. For us, obviously, we go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays is Mouse Madness. Kind of like Steve. We talk Disney, but other pop culture stuff as well. And, of course, on Thursdays, either myself or Melissa or both of us. Melissa did her first solo stream last week. Well, kind of solo. Mason was there. But On Thursdays, we do Disney strictly. And then, of course, on Saturdays, we do Sports Night here. And we throw in some vlogs and videos in between. So if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, we would definitely appreciate you doing that. It means a lot. And for today's video, if you could give us a thumbs up, it would mean a lot to us as well. Obviously, it definitely helps the stream. But welcome in, everybody. The Shep family's in here. Welcome in as well. And, well, we're going to get started in just a second here. And let's see what else we got. Is yours still in it's Steve? You hear Brian? He's funny.
Yeah, he is funny. He did throw a good one up there, though. The Monday meeting. I like that. So
yeah, the Monday meeting's a good name too. That's right. That's a good name. It definitely is. But oh, and before I go, Mouse Madness is still going on. We are down to our Elite 8. So please go out to our Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube channels. I had to think about that, Steve. And vote. Lots of votes in already. Please do. But let's get started, Steve. Again, we're going to talk Major League Baseball predictions tonight, and I love predictions. It's one of my most favorite things to do, and more than anything else, it's baseball where I love to do it the most because it's the one sport that I have the most knowledge about, and I'm the most passionate about. And of course, opening day was this week, and it's just apropos that we would talk about it. So we'll start in the American League, everybody. We're going to start with the American League. We're going to go from each division, talk about our divisions, and then we'll give our playoff teams, our wild card teams, our league championship teams, and then our World Series teams. Right, Steve?
yes.
All right, but I'll let you start. We'll start in the East, and we'll work our way from the bottom, and we'll work our way to our division winner in the American League East. And I think I know who's going to start at the bottom. I'm probably wearing them on my shirt.
You are, unfortunately. So, and this is obviously it is analytical, but it's also opinionated. So don't get mad at anybody. You never know what could happen. But when you throw data together, I like to throw data together. And I talked with Jeff from Dole Whip Dad a little bit earlier this week about some of these. And actually, since watching some of the baseball teams play, watching some of the players play, I've changed a few of them up for from what I think is going to happen.
After 3 games.
In chatting with him offline, he kind of convinced me of a few things that I think are absolutely true. It's better when you have a debate and you think, you can kind of figure out where things are going. So
sure.
Yes, at the bottom of my order, unfortunately for you, Walt, even though they beat my second favorite team today, the Baltimore Orioles. So right now they're tied for second place in the division at 1-1. So that's good for them. But I have them coming in. You want wins and losses too, correct?
I did wins and losses, yes. Okay. You didn't, not a big deal.
I have them finishing as the worst team in baseball, and unfortunately for you. Okay. I have them in at 53 wins and 109 losses.
Okay.
Right above them, I'm putting the Toronto Blue Jays with 63 wins and 99 losses. Then I'm going to move to the Tampa Bay Rays. I think they're going to have a good season, but I think they're going to be underwhelmed for what a lot of people think they're going to do, just because of one of the things is because of the division they're in, and that I have them in at 87 wins and 75 losses. Which brings us to the top 2 teams that we have here. I think that one is clearly stronger than the other, in my opinion, and it's not going to probably be a popular choice. But at second, I have the Boston Red Sox. And I actually had them lower, and I wound up changing a little bit, giving them a few more wins. But I still have them winning 95 games. That's no slouch. I mean, that's good. But I think they're going to definitely fall off from last year. But I have them winning 95 games, and then I have the Yankees winning that division, winning 100 games, 62 losses. So those are my picks from bottom to top.
Okay. Well, I can tell you right now that we have exactly the exact same order. I have the exact same order. I do have the Orioles finishing last. I don't have them losing that many games. I have them going 62 and 100. I think they can get to 62 wins. I think they're better than people think. And we'll go over the division in just a second here, and I'll give you my reasons why, and you can give me your reasons why. Baltimore, 5th place. Toronto next. But I have Toronto winning 70 games. I see 70 and 92. I think this entire division, top to bottom, other than the Orioles, is not horrendous. I think there's a lot of really good teams. Next, I have Tampa Bay at 85 and 77. And then I have Boston at 94 and 68, which you're right is a big drop from where they were last year. That's a 14-game swing. They won 108 games last year. And the Yankees at 97 and 65. I do think the Yankees have at least stayed the course, if not gotten a little bit better. Whereas I think the Red Sox have regressed. They've lost Joe Kelly. They've lost the closer, whose name escapes me, Craig Kimball. And I don't think Mookie Betts and J.D. Martinez are going to have the years they had last year. And I think the Yankees can shorten the ball game. Their bullpen is phenomenal, and they can make a 9-inning game 6 innings very easily. And that's going to mean a lot of wins, especially with the lineup that they have. Where I think they struggle will be defensively. I think that defensively, if there's anything that will hurt them, it will be that. As for Boston, top to bottom, great lineup, great pitching. But again, for me, in my opinion, I think it's their bullpen where they'll struggle. But, you know, that's my opinion. What about you about the East?
Okay, so I agree in most facets, but the reason why I picked the Yankees to win, I think their offense, they got a really nice lineup with their offense. You know, they've got – I think their guys are going to get better, but they have right now, they have Aaron Judge. They have Luke Voigt. They have who's the one between those two? Giancarlo Stanton. That right there is as good of any 3 hitters in the major leagues. The Yankees, in my opinion, have a very deep closing pitching staff, but they don't have great starting pitchers. They brought back CC Sabathia, who's like 90 years old. So they had to bring somebody in. When you got to bring him in, you're lacking some starting pitching. So I think they're going to be solid on the pitching front on the closing, whereas Boston is completely the opposite. They're going to have great starting pitching, but if you can't get through the Yankees lineups, they also got Jacoby Ellsbury. The names just keep going for the Yankees. So if you can't get past that lineup, somebody there is going to hit one of the starting pitchers. But if you can't close a game out, it's going to be bad for them.
Right. And the reason why I say that the Tampa Bay will win 85 games personally is because they seem to always churn out talent. They don't buy it, but they certainly know how to grow it, and they know how to develop it. And every single year they find ways to win ball games. They're just a good team. And I just think they'll be right there. Toronto and Baltimore, to be honest with you, they could mix and match. Who knows? Toronto might be worse. They might fall below Baltimore.
They could.
I don't think the Orioles are as bad as everybody says. And I think part of that is I bleed orange. But I will say this. We're not one-dimensional. The Orioles are not one-dimensional anymore. They can hit and run. They can hit behind the runner. They can steal bases now. I think their defense is incredibly better than where it was last year. They won't strike out anywhere near as much as they used to. They're going to put the ball in play. Where we'll fail is in our pitching. That's it. I think our bullpen is pretty decent, but we do not have starting pitching. Dylan Bundy and Alex Cobb are decent, but they're not number 1 and number 2s. They're 4 and 5s anywhere else. So that's where Baltimore will struggle. And the guys they have in the lineup are unknowns. We'll be lucky if we have one guy that hits 20 home runs this year. They're not going to hit for power. They're going to have to manufacture runs. So I totally agree. You know, it's funny. We were right on with our divisions. Wins here and there are a little different, but pretty much the same.
Yeah, I had the Yankees win a few more games and beating up on. I think they're going to beat up on the division a little more. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yep. I think it's going to be a fun division. I think you have the 2 best. Well, I think most people think the 2 best teams going against each other, and you know, it's how they do against everybody else that's going to make the difference on who wins that division.
Yes, I agree.
Yep. So there you go. That's the American League East. And now we're going to move on to the Central. And this is probably, of all the divisions, this is the one that's going to be the most interesting. I think, anyway.
This is the one that Jeff convinced me to change.
Really?
Yes.
I bet I know who he made you put first.
Probably the one that's going to finish first now, because after I look at it, I've completely overhauled my lineup here. So
really? Okay.
Yeah. So getting started. The bottom 2 teams didn't change for me. I had the Detroit Tigers finishing last in that division. With 63 wins, 99 losses. I just don't think they have what it takes to get up that division. Okay. The Chicago White Sox, I have them right above them, 69 and 93. Then here's where it got interesting, because I think the Kansas City Royals are going to be a lot better than anybody gives them credit for. I really think they're going to be a lot better. But I don't think they're going to beat either of the other two teams. I think they're going to finish close to 500. I had them at 500. I dropped them down after my debate with Jeff. But no, the Kansas City Royals, I have it at finishing third division. I did drop them down to 75 and 87. I just don't think – I think they got a lot of young talent that are going to be good, but I just don't think they have the solid team to do it. And here's where I flip-flopped. I really think – I thought the Minnesota Twins have a good chance to win this division, but they're not playing well starting off the year already. So I have moved them down to second place. And again, looking at the depth and everything, I think Cleveland's offense and pitching is just going to be too much for Minnesota to overcome. So I put Minnesota at second at 87 and 75, and I put Cleveland winning 95 games and going 95 and 67.
There you go. Very good. Very good. Well, we're definitely a lot different on this one. The one thing I always say with anybody when it comes to baseball is over the course of 162 games, the season will tell you who you are. Okay, you might have a rough patch of a week to 10 days. You might have a great stretch of a week to 10 days to 2 weeks. But over the course of the season, the most consistent, best teams are going to play out. It just happens. Unless you have those anomaly seasons where somebody just does better than they should or does worse than they should. But it's few and far between. I think this division plays that for me. I personally think Kansas City is going to be one of the worst teams in the division. Youngtown or not, I don't see it with them. Not yet. I think they're coming, but I don't think it's their year. I have them winning 60 games, 60 and 102. Next, I have Detroit. I agree. I don't think Detroit's a very good team, but I have them winning around 70 games, 70 and 92. With Chicago next, but only a couple games better at 72 and 90. I think Minnesota. Maybe I'm not giving them their just due, but I have them winning 77 games. I don't know why. I don't see it yet with them. 77 and 85, and I do think the class of the division is going to be Cleveland. I think they're going to win 90 games. And I'll be honest with you, I don't have any team winning 100 this year. I don't. I really don't. Even in the National League, which we'll get to, I have a couple teams really, really close to 100, but not quite 100. But Cleveland to me is top to bottom the most balanced team in that division, the most veteran team in that division. They've been there, they've done that, and I think everybody else has a long way to catch up. And Cleveland hasn't really stepped back. I mean, they're not as good as they were, but they haven't taken that much of a step back, and I don't see anybody else that's taken that much of a step forward. That's
absolutely.
What about you?
Cleveland is solid, and Cleveland's going to benefit from how bad the rest of the division is when they have to play everybody that many times. So
right,
they're going to be good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not down in Cleveland whatsoever. So they're going to be really good. We weren't that far off on, like you said, Minnesota. You may not get at 162 games. We're only 10 game difference. So it's not. It's not. We're really close within there. So no, I think from top to bottom, the only difference was you have Kansas City at the bottom, and I haven't moved up a couple spots. But I agree. I think we're pretty close there.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those divisions where anything can make the slightest difference. If Chicago, if they can get somebody to pitch a little bit for them, that might be a 7-game swing. You never know. I mean, that division is so up in the air. Heck, Minnesota might win 90 games in that division.
Well, and you're only one injury or one trade away from completely changing the outcome of an entire season. So
yes,
anything can happen, but just all we have is the information we have right now. So
right, and it's still very, very early. And I think Cleveland goes as how Frankie goes, Francisco Lindor. If he's tearing it up and having a good year, I think they'll do well. Where he goes, they go. Because to me, he's the heart of that team. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yep. So there you go, folks. That's the Central Division, and now we're going to move on to the West. And the West. This is an interesting one as well, I think, in my opinion. But, Steve?
Okay, so, yeah, I completely agree with you here. And I've got one team moved way up the roster than almost everybody else does. We'll get to them in just a minute. But at the bottom of the division, I do have the Texas Rangers. I have them. I just don't see them, especially I don't think this division is as good as the Yankees division, the AL East, but I think it's a close second. You got a lot of good competitors here, and Texas is going to be at the disadvantage when they have to play the rest of these teams. I have them at 65-97. I have Oakland coming in just above them. I know Oakland's projected to do well. I just don't think it's going to happen. I have them winning 71 games, 71-91. I think the Angels are going to finish in third. I got them over 500 still. I got 3 teams in this division over 500. I got them at 85-77. Mm-hmm. My surprise team is the Seattle Mariners. They are playing extremely well right now. Should have beat Boston again last night. They beat Oakland twice already, beat Boston, and then they should beat Boston last night. They're averaging like 9 runs a game right now in those 4 games. So they're doing well, and they've got a lot of talent on that team. I really think they're going to do well, but I just couldn't have them taking over the Astros yet. And I think Seattle's going to finish at 90-72, and I think Houston's going to win the division with 96 wins, 96-66.
Makes sense. Absolutely. Now, I do have a little bit different in some spots from where you are. I agree. I think Texas is going to be last place. I think this division's a little bit better than you have, but only a little bit better. I think Texas wins around 70 games, 70-92. I do agree. I think they're the worst team in the division. I have Seattle next, but I think they're over 500, but I don't think they're there just yet. I have them at 82-80. Even though they're playing well right now, like I said, over the course of a long season, we'll see. I like Anaheim next at 84-78. I like Oakland next at 86-76. They're not going to win 90-something games like they did last year. And again, you're right. I think they could go. I mean, I have a 4-game difference between second and fourth place. They could fall to fourth place. Mm-hmm. And then anybody that doesn't put Houston first in that division is not following baseball very well. I have Houston winning 98 games this year, 98-64. I think they're going to have the best record in the American League by a game over the Yankees.
I have them as the second best record. I think the Yankees. I think the Yankees lineup is just going to be too good, and they're going to close games out. It'll all come down to their starting pitching.
Dan says he's confused.
I'm sorry, guys. I have not been paying attention to the chat.
That's all right. I am. I got him. Brian's in there talking about the wild thing Cleveland Indians with Willie Mays Hayes. That's so funny. And Dan says he's probably he's confused on everything. But we're going to get you there, Dan. I promise. One of these days when Dan's over here, we're going to take him to a ball game.
Yes, we need that.
Teach him the game. And then he'll have a new appreciation for it. I know he will.
But between the 2 leagues, there are 2,430 games this year. I actually have, with intercompany in play, I have the National League stronger this year. Mm-hmm. Okay. The matchups, but not by much. Only by I have them 42 more wins than the American League. So, okay. But yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think it's a good. These races, there's a couple, especially the AL Central and the AL West. They're going to be interesting to see. I think there's going to be a sleeper team in both those divisions.
There you go. But I do think Houston, to me, top to bottom, is a very good team. They have pitching. They have starting pitching. They have relief pitching. They have an incredible array of young talent offensively. Just an incredible array. I think they have one of the most electrifying players out there in Altuve, who I think is a great player for a little guy. And he's a little guy like me. He's like 5'5".
Are you that tiny?
Yeah, man. I'm like 5'6".
Oh, wow.
There you go, everybody.
You look a lot taller on camera.
I'm not. No, not at all. But he is. He's a little guy, but it just goes to show you baseball's not about having to be big and strong. It's all about your motor skills and your hand-eye coordination and just being a good ball player.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's just how I see it. I think Houston's, man, they're a really good team. They really, really are. But there you go. So that's our division. So we have our division winners. Steve, you have your 3 division winners, and go ahead and tell me those division winners again, and then give me your 2 wild card teams.
So my division winners by records are the Yankees as the 1 seed, the Houston as the 2 seed, and Cleveland as the 3 seed. And then by record, I have the Red Sox and the Mariners in the wild card, and that's a 1-game playoff, correct? Am I right?
Yes, it is. Yes, 1-game playoff.
I actually have the Mariners. I think the Mariners are going to beat the Red Sox in that wild card.
Okay.
I think you want me to keep going with the rest of it or just that?
Well, I'm not. I'm just giving my division winners and my wild cards, and then my ALCS, and then my winner of the ALCS.
Okay, so after that grouping, I think the Yankees and the Mariners will play each other. I think the Yankees would win in 5. I think the Astros would win in 5 against the Indians. I think those will be quick series, and then I think the Yankees and Astros series will go 7 games, and due to home field for what I have home field as, I think the Yankees will come out.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, we're very close. Obviously, my division winners are, again, Houston, New York, and Cleveland. I have Boston and Oakland as the wild cards. My ALCS is New York versus Houston, just like you. But I see Houston coming out of the American League, not because of home field advantage. I think each team is going to win a game, at least one game on the road. Home field in baseball has become less and less, as you see it over the years, less and less of a big advantage. I mean, it's there, don't get me wrong, but you're seeing it more and more where the road teams are starting to win more games. Instead of it used to be 4-3 and the home teams would win them all, but you're starting to see more road teams win. So,
and I completely agree with that. I think they're going to swap, but I think when it comes to, like I said, I think it's going to go 7 games. When it gets to that game 7 at New York State at Yankee Stadium, I think that's going to make a big difference. And Dan just asked how many under par do they each need to hit. So,
Dan, baseball is really hard, dude. You can hard as a hitter. You can fail 7 out of 10 times, and you're considered really good. You're a 300 hitter. If you can bat 300 in baseball and still fail 7 out of 10 times, you're considered good. So it just goes to show you how hard it is. So there you go. So your American League champion is the Yankees, and mine is Houston. So we're very, very close. Absolutely.
Yeah, we even had the same teams. So that's
absolutely. Yep. Now we're going to wait on our award winners until we're done the National League. We'll save awards for the very end. So let's get into the National League, and we'll come back to American League MVPs and all that. Unless you want to do that first. You want to do that first? Or you want to wait on that?
Wait.
Want to wait?
Yeah.
All right. You got look. Meg's in there saying go Yankees. Meg, we got to talk.
Meg, the Yankees are my second favorite team, so it's gonna be a homer year for me, I think. So I'm hoping.
Steve, are you? I got to come off topic for a second. Are you from New York?
I'm not. I'm from Indiana. So
you like the Yankees?
Okay. I'm a historian. I'm an analyst. I like doing all that kind of stuff. Since I knew probably about 2 years old when I knew what baseball was, my team was the Dodgers. I don't know why. Could not give you an answer why, but I started studying the history of the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Yankees against each other, and I just fell in love with both of those teams and the greats, with Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle and all those guys. I just fell in love with those two teams, and then yes, Meg, we are agreeing on things, and we usually don't in the brackets. So, but no, they've been my team since I knew what baseball was. So I've never strayed from them. It was before all the big payrolls and all that other stuff. I've always loved that that relationship, and especially when LA was in Brooklyn, that's where I gotta go. So
okay, understood. The Yankees are like the typical evil empire, for crying out loud. They can buy everybody, they can get everybody. It just makes it unfun.
They can, but they don't this year. And actually, I have it somewhere from here it is, from when I talked the other day. The team with the highest payroll, I'll find it here in a minute while you're talking, but the payrolls are a little different this year. And somebody was asking me about the Dodgers. Dodgers aren't on the top of it. There it is. The Boston Red Sox have the highest payroll. And as a person from Indiana, sorry, Chris, with DWA, we are brought up to hate all Boston teams. I apologize for that. But the Colts and the New England Patriots used to be together. It's just Boston sports is not very popular here. And with me, especially being a Yankee and a Dodger fan, we gotta root against the Boston sports city. So
well, I don't like either one. New York or Boston doesn't matter to me. Potato. I don't know. Look,
payroll-wise, sorry, real quick. The Yankees have the third highest payroll. Boston has the first, and the Cubs have the second. So
you made it sound like they were like the 10th or something.
Oh no. the Dodgers are 7th, so
everybody.
Well,
half of the Yankees payroll is in Mike Stanton alone.
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah. He's got some money there. So.
Oh my God, Brandy and Dave. There's nothing wrong with the Pirates. I mean, I don't like the Pirates. They beat my team twice in the World Series, but the Pirates. We'll get to them in a little bit too. I don't know, Steve. The Yankees. I love the history of the Yankees. Don't get me wrong. Okay, and I'll be honest with you. When they went through that period of time in the 80s and late 70s, early 80s, early 90s, where they didn't win anything, and then they got back on track and started drafting well again. And they drafted Mariano Rivera, Jorge Posada, Bernie Williams, Derek Jeter, Andy Pettitte. They got back into it and did it right, and you saw they reaped the rewards, and now they're doing it again with Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, all those guys, Severino if he ever gets healthy, So they've done it. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I hate on them, but they're doing it the right way too.
Oh yeah. They're just one of those things though that you like you said, the evil empire. You either like Chris put in with Boston, you either hate them or you love them.
Yeah,
the Yankees are kind of the same way. You either like them or you don't like them. But I think they're a classy team in my opinion, and they have a very rich history, and that's one of the reasons why I like them so much.
And Dan, they are great. Dan says they're great. They are great. They are. I mean, they're the winningest team in baseball ever, like by a lot in World Series. They have like 28 World Series. It's not even close. I think the next closest might be the Cardinals with like 13 or something like that. But we got off track. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're fine.
Let's start with the National League. And I think this is the one division where I think you and I are going to be really different.
Let's
start in the National League East. We'll start, except at the bottom, I think.
Well, the bottom's easy. That's the Miami
the bottom's
Marlins.
Easy. But let's go ahead. Go ahead.
I have them. Yeah, I have them the worst in the National League, the Miami Marlins. I only have them at 56 and 106. And then when we were doing this, though, the next 4 teams, I had at one point in time I could make a case for all 4 of these next teams to win the division. And when I backed it out, I went ahead and backed out Washington. I just don't think they're going to be as strong after they lost Harper. I thought they were still going to be good. I really don't think they're going to. I think they're only going to win 72 games, 72 and 88. So I backed them out. The next 3, though, I have within 1 game of each other. So I went with the Atlanta Braves at 3rd at 86 and 76. I went the Phillies at 87 and 75, and I went the Mets winning the division at 88 and 74. I just think those 3 teams are so competitive. They're not the best in the NL, in my opinion, by any means. I think it's they'll finish as a 3 seed, whoever wins this division, in my opinion. But I think all 3 of those teams are that close that they could do well.
Okay, gotcha. I personally feel that this division is the division to watch this year. It will be the most fun division, unless they just totally all tank. I think this will be the most fun division in all of baseball, because you're right. I think 4 of these 5 teams, any one of them can win this division, other than Miami, who I agree, in my opinion, they're last place. I have them with 58 and 104. I have Atlanta next. Winning, don't worry. They're still winning record. They have them at 84 and 78. I have the Mets next at 86 and 76. I agree. I can't give the division to Washington. I'm giving them 90 and 72. And I'm giving Philadelphia the division. I really like this team at 94 and 68. I think the addition of Bryce Harper, he's going to have this honeymoon with them for the first 3 years that's really going to put them over the top, in my opinion. And I think they have a lot of young talent, and I think that Washington's on the decline, even with all the great starting pitching they have. They have a few good players. Offensively, Trey Turner's very good, and I think it's Juan Soto? He's there too, right? Very good players. But overall, I think they've taken a step back. So my division winner is Philadelphia.
And it was funny you said that. We were only 2 games off different record in the Braves. We were only 2 games off record in the Mets game as well. The difference is you have Washington winning a whole lot more games than I do. I think they're going to fall harder than you have them fallen. So, but that's again, the other 3 teams though, I think are all going to be there, and it will be like you said, the most fun division. I don't think there will be another division, maybe one other one where 3 teams will contend, maybe 4. And I don't think any other division has 4 teams that could contend. So
Gotcha.
I do think this will be the most interesting to watch. It'll flip-flop constantly.
Gotcha. Hey, Ray J, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us. I'll say this. I can't see Washington falling too far. They were 82-80 last year, which just totally stunned me. And part of that, I feel, was the fact that Bryce Harper didn't play as well as he should have. He didn't really have the best year. He only batted like 258 or 260 or something. But their pitching is just too good. Mm-hmm. And if they're healthy, their pitching is going to keep them in every single game. I mean, they're just 1 through 5. I mean, they're really, really good. Unless they underperform, which is very possible because Washington seems to underperform every single year.
Oh, I agree, 100%.
Every single year.
I just think that they're going to be, like you said, they were 82-80, and I think they're going to digress. I don't think they're going to get better than that, which is the reason why I dropped them 10 more games from what they did last year. And they were already started out 0-2. I just don't think it's going to be that great of a year for them. Gotcha.
All right, perfect. And what about the Central? Another interesting division.
Yes, this is another good one. So sorry for all you fans out there, but I think the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to wind up in the bottom of the division there. Sorry, but I do have them of all 4 or of all 6 divisions in baseball. I have them with the best record of the worst teams in the division. So I do have them winning 70 games, going 70-92. I just don't think they have it, and I apologize, but I just don't think they have it. I have the Reds next at 4th place, winning 80 and going 80-82. I think they'll just be just right under 500. And then the next 3 teams, I think, are another 3 that could possibly do it, but I think 2 of them are clear. I think 2 of them are more clear front runners, so I put St. Louis at 3rd. I have them winning 87 games though, going 87-75. I think Goldschmidt is going to do some good things there, but I just don't think he can carry that division with the other 2 teams. Mm-hmm. And then now the other 2 teams I have separated by 1 game, and I just don't think the Cubs are going to get it done. And I put the Cubs at 93-69, and I put Milwaukee at 94-68. I think Milwaukee's going to have another great year.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Good list. And we'll go into the division and why we feel we have everybody there in a minute. For me, I have Cincinnati last. I think they'll win 70 games, 70-92. And it's funny, my 4th place is Pittsburgh, but I actually had them about 80-82. I think they're going to be a little bit better than people think. I think they'll play well. I think they're on the rise as well. But 80-82, I do have them in 4th place. 3rd place for me is your division winner. I think Milwaukee's going to take a big step back at 83-79. That's just, I don't know. I think the 2 teams ahead of them are better, and I think they're going to have just better years. Number 2 for me is the Cubs. I agree. I don't think they're going to win the division. I have them at 90-72. And just like I thought with Philadelphia, I think the addition of Goldie to the Cardinals is really going to help them a lot, and I have them at 92-70 winning the division. He's going to be a huge boost to that team, I feel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are – I mean, that's great. And it's kind of funny. Me and you had both – we had Pittsburgh and Cincinnati in last place, just kind of flip-flopped with the identical records. I have 70-92, and you have 80-82. So we have the same records. We just have the different teams flopped.
Right.
With me, with the Brewers, the reason why I think the Brewers are going to pull it out, obviously you have the reigning MVP and Christian Yelich. They have now – they got Mike Moustakas. They have Ryan Braun, Lorenzo Cain. They picked up Yasmani Grandal from the Dodgers. They just have their lineup to me is stronger. They may not have a better player than some of the, like nobody on that team is better than Goldschmidt is, but I think they have better depth, and I think that's why over the long haul, I think they'll get it done.
Gotcha. Now, see, and when I look at Milwaukee, I look at those players you just named, and to me, those players, they're decent players, but to me, I don't think they're difference makers players. Moustakas and Lorenzo Cain, I think they're past their prime, in my opinion. I think they're okay players. I love Christian Yelich. He's fantastic. He's a possible MVP candidate. But those other guys that you mentioned to me, they're fine players, and I think they are additional players that help, and maybe that'll be enough. Again, I could be totally wrong, and St. Louis could finish in 4th. I don't know. I just feel they're going to have a really good year. I really do. I think they have good enough pitching. It's younger, but I think they're going to perform well.
And yeah, we got to learn Disney Dan right. Dan, we don't say go Pats around here. It's go anybody but the Pats. So we got to get him in. We got to get him educated. It's like the whole alphabet Phoenicians thing. We don't root for the Pats. So.
And Brandon and Dave called him Daniel. Maybe we'll have to start calling him Daniel if you keep saying go Pats. But I agree. I think that division is a really good division. It's funny so far of all the divisions. I think none of them are really blowouts. Maybe other than Cleveland's, in my opinion. I know you didn't pick. Well, no, you did pick Cleveland.
Yeah,
but I mean, other than that division, all of them seem to be like we're on the same page, and they're all going to be close and fun.
Oh yeah, except that was my biggest gap. Well, that one and the next one, but those are my biggest gaps for sure. So.
I wonder where you're going with the next one. I think we're both going there. But go ahead. Out west. Okay. So
out west, it's going to be a kind of a toss-up for who finishes at the bottom. But I think San Francisco, which will please me greatly, will finish at the bottom of the division with 67 and 95. That might be being gracious to this division, but I could be wrong. Arizona Diamondbacks, I have them in 4th. At 76 and 86, I think San Diego has made enough moves to benefit themselves to get to 3rd from the bottom of like the National League last year, but I don't think they're going to be good enough to win yet. I have them at 87 and 75. I have the Rockies. The Rockies are a strong team, and a lot of people don't give them enough credit, but I think the Rockies are going to beat up on, like the Dodgers, I think the Rockies are going to beat up on the rest of the division, and I think they're going to beat up on a lot of these other teams in the National League. I have the Rockies at 92 and 70. And then to me, I have 2 teams winning 100 games. The Yankees were one of them. I don't see a more complete or better team this year than the Los Angeles Dodgers in all of baseball. And that's great for me because you can see behind me, I'm a Dodger fan, but their pitching is unreal. Their lineup is unreal. And not only just their lineup that starts, but they have the deepest team in baseball. And I have them winning 101 games this year, going 101 and 61.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Now we're very close on a lot of this. I have San Francisco in last place at 70 and 92. For me, San Diego's next. I think the addition of Machado helps them, but Machado was on the Orioles, and we lost over 100 games.
He didn't do anything for the Dodgers very much either. So
yeah, I mean, so I don't know that he's the difference maker that everybody thinks he is. I think he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but I think they're 78 and 84. I have Arizona next at 84 and 78. I think the loss of Goldschmidt's going to be a big loss for them. Clubhouse leader, very important to the lineup. I think that hurts them this year. Maybe they bounce back next year, but that's where I have them. Second, I agree. I have Colorado at 90 wins and 72 losses. I think they're very good, and yet people don't seem to want to follow it, and they are always under the radar. I think you're going to see them this year, but I agree. The Dodgers are the class of the National League, in my opinion. I have them at 98 and 64. They're going to be fantastic. They're going to play really, really well. Very complete team. I agree. I mean, I have no problem with you saying they're probably the best and most complete team in all of baseball. I have no problem with that. Great lineup, great pitching. They have it all. And their division is, other than really Colorado, I think San Diego and San Francisco are going to be, they're going to play them 19 times, and they're probably going to win 14 out of 19.
And that's why this is the one year I get to be the homer team and actually mean it, because I'm like you, we're very passionate about our teams, but we also are realists sometimes. Yeah. And this year, though, which means since I'm so hyped and I expect them to win, they won't. But I know they are the most complete team in my division. And I think we're only 3 games off on their record. I have them pushing over 100 wins due to how bad the bottom of that division is. So gotcha. That's why I have them pushed up there.
Okay, great. And I do want to chime in real fast for everybody in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you all for supporting us. We really appreciate it. Again, I know it's not Disney, and we're all huge Disney fans. It's just something a little bit off the Disney path on Saturdays. We appreciate you being here. But I do want to talk a little bit of Disney before we get off at the end here. When we're done, I have a couple things on my mind that I want to talk about some stuff that came up this week, Steve, and I want your opinion on it. So everybody hang in there with us. The last few minutes, we're going to talk about some stuff. But let's give your division winners, and then we'll give your NLCS and then your NL champion.
Okay. And we are going to, guys, for Dan and Dougie, there will be some soccer in here and some English stuff in here too. Or yes! Sorry, I just messed up Dougie again. Dougie said they root for whoever is not England. And, of course, Dan is the other way. So,
right.
But we will get into those too as well. So my National League, I division winners, I have the Dodgers. I think they are the best team in the National League. I honestly think they're the best team in all of baseball right now. From depth, whatever you want to call it, I think they're just the best team in baseball. I have them as a 1 seed. I have Milwaukee as the 2 seed. I just think with their lineup, I still think they're going to be good. Christian Yelich may repeat as the MVP, which he doesn't even look like a baseball player, so I don't understand how that's possible. But I think he's going to help that team win. I think the Mets are going to win their division, which I have them at 3. And then the next 2 divisions, the wild card, I have the Cubs and the Rockies.
Very nice. Okay, so for me, division winners, LA, best record, Philadelphia next, St. Louis. My 2 wild cards are Colorado and Chicago, the Cubs. I think I actually had a 3-way tie for the last spot in the wild card, but I just picked a winner from those 3 of who I think is the better, and I think the Cubs make it. That being said, I don't think the Cubs are going very far. I think your NLCS to me is going to be the Cardinals and the Dodgers, and I think the Dodgers are going to win.
Okay,
I think, to be honest with you, I think the Dodgers will probably win it in 5 or 6, but I do think the Cardinals are good enough to get there.
I do too, and that's again we only had a couple games difference between first and third place in some of these divisions. I just went with a different team. We have the same wild card teams, same person on top. We just have different winners in the middle. But I have the same thing. I think it's going to be Milwaukee, and I think Milwaukee is going to be the one that I think Milwaukee's going to beat the Mets in my side. I do believe I agree with you. I think the Rockies are going to beat the Cubs in the wild card. So I think the Dodgers will beat the Rockies. I think Milwaukee will beat the Mets, and I agree with you. I think the Dodgers will win in 5.
There you go. All right. So then our World Series, who do you have for the World Series?
My dream matchup, and this will be the only year it ever happens, possibly, and that's the Yankees versus the Dodgers.
How is that a dream matchup, though? It's your 2 favorite teams. How do you pick a winner?
Well, I picked a winner easily with LA. that's not even hard. But it's one of those that if the Dodgers didn't win, I would be okay with it because it's the Yankees. So it's not somebody like Boston.
Okay, there you go. All right. And for me, it's Houston versus the Dodgers. And I hate to say it, Steve, but I think for the 2nd straight year, the Dodgers get there, but Houston finds a way in 7. I think this is going 7. I think it's going to be one of the best World Series that we're going to have. It's going to be one of those World Series that live on for a long time. You know, those ones that we never forget? This is going to be one of them. But I think that Houston finds a way to eke it out. And
that's very possible. We have 3 of the same final 4 teams of baseball, if you want to call it that. I just think I don't think Houston will get past the Yankees. But if they did, I still agree with you. It'll go 7 games again. This will be the 3rd World Series in a row the Dodgers would be in. They went 7 games with the Astros last time. If it was either way, Yankees or Astros, I think it'll still be a 7-game series. I think by all my accounts, the LA Dodgers would have the home field advantage. And I think Game 7 didn't matter the first time they played Houston. It went 7 games against Houston, and they beat LA in Game 7. And then I don't think it repeats this year. I think the Dodgers will win in 7 games this year.
There you go. Good. Very good. All right. Perfect. So let's talk now. So there you go. So Steve's going with the home team. I totally, but you know what? It makes perfect sense. It's not like it's not a stretch. It's not.
No, it's not. And last year, you know, I've talked about this in the past several years. I've never picked them. So I've picked them to win the National League, and I've picked them to win other things. I've never picked them to win a World Series.
Yeah, no, it's not a stretch at all. So you have the Dodgers winning. I have Houston winning. I can see either one. I really can. But now let's talk about awards. And, of course, in baseball, you have the most valuable player. You have the Cy Young and the Rookie of the Year. Those are the three big ones. You have other awards, too, but these are the ones we're going to focus on. Let's go to your American League. Who do you have winning your Rookie of the Year?
Okay, so the Rookie of the Year is I narrowed every one of these down to three. And this was the easiest one for me to pick. I have, let's see, American League. I have Vlad Guerrero Jr., I have Kyle Tucker from the Astros, and Eloy Jimenez from the White Sox.
Okay.
When I look at the grand scheme of things and who I think is going to be able to play more and all that, I don't think there's going to be another guy. I think this is the bigger gap of all the awards. I think Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to take it for the Blue Jays.
Okay. And I agree. That was my pick. Rookie of the Year, I picked Vlad. I think right now he's the very popular choice. He's the obvious choice. I think you're right. He's going to get the at-bats. He's going to get the playing time. I think he has more of a leash than these other guys do. Hey, Stacy Rogers, welcome in. Thank you for being here. I agree. That was my pick as well. Rookie of the Year is Vlad. What about your American League Cy Young Award winner?
So this is getting a little more interesting. And I know Chris Sale won it last year, and he's a good pitcher. Do not get me wrong. I think he's good. But Justin Verlander finished second to him. And then you also have Corey Kluber and Garrett Cole that are really good as well.
Yep.
This year, I think Justin Verlander does what it takes to win the award.
Really interesting. Okay, even at his age, huh?
Did you watch the pitch the other night? I mean, I think he's better than Garrett Cole, who and he's on a team that he's the number one pitcher on the team you predicted to win the World Series. I don't see any problem with him being the Cy Young this year.
Fair enough. My Cy Young Award winner is the other guy on Houston. It's Garrett Cole. That's my pick. I like his stuff. I think he's a very good pitcher. I think it was one of the best moves they made when they got him from Pittsburgh. It was Pittsburgh, right? He was with Pittsburgh, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yep. I think he's incredibly good, and I think he's going to benefit the most. I have no problem with Verlander. I'm just kidding. I mean, he's a great pitcher. But I think, in my opinion, he's well past his prime, although he is still really, really good. Don't get me wrong.
You know, the Dodgers messed up in not getting him what was last year?
Yeah.
I think they messed up not getting him last year. I would take him in a heartbeat on our team. So
all right. That's fair.
I think he's that good. I really think he's going to do well. But him and Cole are going to be neck and neck on that team for who's the best of there. So
everybody's funny in the chat. They're talking about tossing trees and hockey.
We'll get to hockey one day, guys.
We are going to get to hockey. I told Meg she could be our special guest that week.
Awesome.
Yep, I agree. They're so funny. But, okay, so there you go. So what about your MVP, American League MVP?
Okay, so I have three different people. I think it's going to come down between Mike Trout of the Angels. I think it's going to come to Aaron Judge of the Yankees or Carlos Correa for the Astros.
Okay.
I think Mike Trout is going to be the best player, but I think he's not going to make as big of an impact to get his team to where it needs to be as Aaron Judge will for the Yankees. And I think Aaron Judge will win the MVP.
Fair enough. Okay, it's funny. We're on the same wavelength. We're just picking different players.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to go with an under the radar guy. Not really, but yes, really. And I think he's going to benefit from a really good year in a really small ballpark. And I think it's going to be Giancarlo Stanton.
Could be.
I'm picking Giancarlo. I think with the protection of the lineup that he has, and everybody focuses on Judge and some of these other players, he's going to be forgotten about a little bit. If you can say that about Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to have a monster year, and he might win it.
You know, it's funny you said that because when I was talking with Jeff 3 days ago, whatever it was, I picked Giancarlo Stanton. So, but then the more I look at it, I just think, I don't know why, I think Aaron Judge is going to wind up being the better of those two. But, and I didn't want to pick two Yankees when I gave my list of three. So, but I did pick Giancarlo Stanton a few days ago. But I really think, And what's going to be the downside for me in picking Judge is that Giancarlo is going to have Judge and some of the other guys on base for him as well. But that's one of the reasons why I picked the Yankees to win the World Series, because if you got two candidates that could be an MVP candidate,
I agree.
That's one of the reasons why they're there.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree. I mean, if you're going to have some of these people win divisions, then they have to have people that step up and just have phenomenal years. Yeah. So it makes perfect sense. National League, start with Rookie of the Year. Who's your Rookie of the Year in the National League?
All right. So Rookie of the Year in the National League, I have narrowed it down to, I think, Victor Robles. I can't ever say his name. Is it Robles or Robles from the Nationals? I have Nick Senzel from the Reds, and I have Fernando Tatis Jr. from the Padres. I think, oddly enough, and I could be completely wrong, I think Fernando Tatis is going to win it. And I think it's going to be because, and when you talked about them the Padres picking up Manny, I think Fernando Tatis may be the difference maker that gives them the more wins that I have than what you had. So, and Tatis is lightning fast. He's incredible, and I think he's going to get the at bats. He's going to play full time, I think, and I think he's going to do well.
There you go. This one was hard for me because I wasn't as familiar with the National League rookies. So for me, I went with Pete Alonso. I think he's going to have a good year. Mets. Obviously, another popular choice by a lot of folks, but I think he's going to have a good year. They're going to give him the opportunity to play. He's the guy for me. I don't know a ton about him. I tried to look into his numbers. He has some good, very good minor league numbers. He's the guy I'm going with for the National League in Rookie of the Year. He's probably the least guy I can talk about at all these, but that's my guy.
Yeah, the National League, I think, is there's probably 6 or 7 guys that you could consider in there, because you also have Alex Reyes for the Cardinals, and you have Brendan Rodgers for the Rockies that could both do well as well. They've got a lot of really good. The National League has a lot better rookies, deeper rookies than the American League has.
Gotcha. No, I agree. They're talking in the chat. Brian's talking about Tim Salmon. You remember Tim Salmon?
Oh yeah, I just watched him with the Fishmongers.
I love Tim Salmon. He's one of my favorite players. But all right, Cy Young, National League.
So, again, Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, and Clayton Kershaw, I think, are my top 3. I don't think Clayton stays healthy all year, again, just because of history. So, I think it comes down to Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer again from last year. And I think Max Scherzer gets it this year as opposed to last year. I went with both second runners up from last year to win this year. So, I just think Max Scherzer is going to I think he's just going to push ahead and do better. He pitched so well the other night too, but I really think that he's going to pull it out.
Okay, gotcha. And for me, National League a Cy Young Award winner, it's going to come out of the East, and it's Noah Syndergaard. That's my pick. I think he's going to be one of the reasons. DeGrom had a great year last year. I think this is the year Syndergaard takes over and has a great year, has all the tools, has all the ability and the talent. He's going to be one of the main reasons why the Mets contend all year long. So he's my pick. I just think he's a great guy. What a great 1-2 punch with DeGrom and Syndergaard. And I think they have Steven Matz in there too. They have a good pitching staff, and that's my pick. DeGrom, not DeGrom, Syndergaard.
I can easily see that too. He's definitely a contender there as well. So it's going to be an interesting year this year. I think there's going to be 5 to 6, maybe 7 people. The National League to me is a lot closer than the American Leagues are. In the American League, I can make a case for about 3 guys for each award. In the National League, I can make a case for 6 to 10 guys sometimes. Okay,
all right. And lastly, MVP.
So my MVP is, and I changed this from the other day too, but I have 3 MVP candidates possibly. I have Christian Yelich again. Because I picked the Brewers to win, I think he's going to make a big difference there. I have Cody Bellinger for the Dodgers, and I think he's just going to do phenomenal. And I have Paul Goldschmidt for the Cardinals. I have a feeling I know who you're going with, but I'm probably going with my guy for the exact same reason. Even though I think Goldschmidt and Cody Bellinger are going to have better numbers, I think because I think Christian Yelich, or because I think the Milwaukee Brewers are going to win the division, I think it goes to Yelich again, because I think what he does is going to mean more important to be getting that team to the playoffs than the other 2.
I agree 100% on that. I totally agree with your thought process there. He's going to mean more to his team, absolutely, because they need him more. The other teams have other help, He might be a one-man show. But no, that's a good pick. For me, we talked about it earlier. I think the honeymoon starts, and I think his first few years there, he's going to be on a mission to show that he's worth the money that he's getting, and he's going to light it up. And that's Bryce Harper. I know that's a really funny pick, but I think he's going to be on a mission this year to stick it to Washington for one and do everything he can to win that division and show people he's worth the money.
Absolutely.
I think he is really going to do everything in his power to have a phenomenal year. And I think he does it. I think of the three players that got the big money, Machado, Harper, and Trout, I think he's the one that's going to fall off first, production-wise, in these big years. But I think early on, he's going to do everything he can to just be lights out.
Yeah, and Bryce Harper is maybe my favorite player in baseball. I was really disappointed the Dodgers didn't get him too. But no, Bryce Harper is a great pick. I think he's going to struggle a little bit. Not when I say struggle, he's still going to be in the top three players in baseball. But I don't think he's going to. You know, again, didn't you have the Phillies winning the division?
I did.
I mean, that follows along the same philosophy. He's going to help that team get there, and he's a phenomenal player, one of my favorites. And he was probably my fourth pick in there. I just can't. I just had to give it to Yelich because I think the Brewers are going to win.
Makes sense. So there you go, guys. There you go. We have done our predictions for baseball. Not that anybody in the chat was paying attention. No, I'm just kidding. You have no idea, folks. We really appreciate all of you hanging in there for that. We love talking sports. We love talking baseball. And just the fact that you guys are here and chiming in on anything, it means the world to us. I'm sure I could speak for Steve with that. Correct, Steve?
Absolutely.
I mean, we will get to every single sport. That's the whole point of Sports Night. We talk about what's current the most, but we will get to everything for sure. And we really appreciate you guys chiming in and being here. It means the world. But I do want to ask something, and I want to get off the subject of baseball now that we've kind of finished up. Disney this week, and Steve, I want your opinion on this. They had the big news, and I need opinions on this because the smoking. Okay, they have totally banned smoking from the parks. They've now said that it's going to be designated on the outside. Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm not a smoker, never have been. Melissa's not a smoker. Why? I guess my question is why now? What has happened that we've gotten Disney to the point where they're now deciding that they don't want smokers inside the parks? Has anybody got an opinion on that? Steve, what about you?
I think it's phenomenal. And I'm sorry to all the people that do smoke. I don't smoke. I have a small allergy to it. I can smell it from if the wind's blowing in the direction. Somebody could be, a couple countries over in Epcot, and I can smell it. And I start looking around immediately. It bothers me a lot. So people still have their passes. They still have that. But inside the parks, it's supposed to be family friendly. And again, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking smoking as being non-family friendly or anything like that. But there are kids that walk around. There's other things. And I avoid certain areas because of the designated smoking areas. It bothers me that bad. So for me personally, and my health, I used to have asthma, and so I can't. I mean, I've never smoked in my life. I can't stand it. So for me personally, I think it's phenomenal, and I'm glad they do it. But now the only negative is when you come into the park, where's the smoking area now? Because now instead of several different areas around where people could smoke before, they're all going to be standing somewhere outside. Are you going to be walking past them when you go into the parks? I don't know where the designated smoking is going to be. So I personally think it's a great thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's the thing. I totally agree with it. I'm so glad they're doing it. I'm happy as well. I'm not a smoker. I can't stand it. My mom smokes. She's been a heavy smoker since the age of 16, and she's now 71. I agree with everybody else. I don't like it. It's such a terrible smell. It stinks. Why now? Why not last year? Why not the year before? I'm wondering what changed.
And maybe nothing changed. Maybe just with all the changes that they're making concurrently, they're trying to make everything more family oriented. Like Dougie said he was an ex-smoker, right? And he still wouldn't smoke at Disney for respect for the kid, because kids can't help it. They can't. They're going to be out there, and like I know it's outdoors, but you can still smell it. It still aggravates me. I mean, it not aggravates. Right. It affects me. So I think it's great that they're doing it, and I think I'm just saying that the reason why they're doing it now, everything's supposed to be becoming more health conscious around the world. I just think with all the changes Disney's making, and was it Bob Iger's decision? Was it another decision that he made before he's leaving?
Well, I don't know. I don't even know that it's his decision to make. He's not the president, so he's not the president of the parks. I think he leaves that kind of stuff up to the president of Disney Parks, whose name I think isn't that Bob Chapek?
Yeah, the guy that may become the new president. So.
Yeah, ultimately, you're right. I think he may be the guy that replaces him, but I think that kind of stuff he doesn't really put his hand. Maybe he does.
Yeah,
I mean, and everybody's talking about the ban on ice. I agree. The ban on the ice now, the loose ice and the dry ice. Okay, what am I missing there? Or is it because I think Meg said she heard that people were sneaking in alcohol in cubes of ice? Okay, that makes sense. But was it a safety issue?
Now that I think this one's more of a marketing issue for Disney, but at the same time, I don't have a problem with it. Now that they're starting to open up alcohol everywhere and starting to sell alcohol, like I know 4 more restaurants in the Magic Kingdom just got added. I think you can buy them at all sit-down restaurants now. Disney wants to make money off their alcohol. So I don't necessarily have a problem with that. But at the same time, Disney could spin it with, hey, we can control selling the alcohol to who needs to be controlled. You know what I mean? If somebody's have too much to drink, they're not going to sell any more alcohol. Where if they're sneaking in their own, Disney can't stop them. And that's just, they could spin it that way, but I think it's more of a marketing issue myself.
Right. Okay. And Brian says, Meg says you can have ice in your water bottles, though, which makes sense. Okay. Brian said because it's, people could trip on the ice cubes. And that's kind of where I was going. Was it a safety issue that somebody dumps out their cooler, dumps the ice out on the ground, somebody walks by, slips on the ice, hurt themselves, there's a liability issue.
Well, and that is definitely a good point, because I did not know that you were still allowed to have them in your I thought they were banning them out of the water bottles and everything. Yeah. That's where I thought they were. That makes sense. If they're going to let you have them in the water bottles, then I can completely see it being a liability issue.
Yeah, and that's what Chris just said too. He said if they dump the cooler out on the ground, that could be an issue. Right. You could trip. That's a liability issue. Disney doesn't want that. They don't want that. Dougie says also people bang on about how it's an addiction, talking about smoking. But people still make the choice to smoke. There's barely a person alive today that doesn't that starts smoking that doesn't know the risks. I agree. Wise up. It's a good point. I agree. Dan, the Lucky Minute says it's because of the security checks. It was becoming a hassle to go through the loose ice. That makes sense too. It's all about fan experience, or I say fan experience, but guest experience. And one of the worst things for me, and Steve, chime in on this, please. What takes away from the experience for me is having to wait in that long security line.
Yes.
I want to get in the park.
Yes.
Move, people.
and we always go as a big family. So there's usually at least 4 of us that go. If not, there's 8 or 9 of us, or I can't remember the number, but we always put all the bags on one person or 2 people and carry them in, so everybody else can go ahead and go in and do their thing. We just meet up with them when we get through the bag check. But I am also at the point I am very, very happy that Disney does the bag checks and does a thorough job with the bag checks for everybody's safety. But at the same time, I would rather they take their time. We have to go through it. I get it. Everybody's, I know I'm not going to carry anything to the park, but they don't know that. So I've got no problem with that. But the bag checks, the security, it can really slow you down.
Yeah. And Meg said people carry so much stuff into the parks, must be so difficult for security to go through mega coolers and mega strollers. Oh, I agree. No, it slows everything down. It's so time consuming, and it's all about guest experience. Brian said, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute, Brian, but I want to get to this. Meg said they've also been times when she waited 45 minutes for security line. I agree. And it takes away from the experience. I'm not there to wait in that line. I've already got to wait in lines when I get inside. I don't want to wait on one on the outside.
Yep.
But Brian said, and everybody, this is really cool. Mickey's PhilharMagic is coming to Disney's California Adventure. I don't know if everybody heard that, but Mickey's PhilharMagic is coming to DCA. I love that. Steve, did you hear about that?
I did not hear about that, but Mickey's PhilharMagic is one of my favorite attractions. So I think I love the music, where the smells and everything that they do in that. It's a 3D show for those of you that don't know what it is. I really like that attraction. So that's nice that they're getting that out there.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to get into strollers in a minute, folks, because that's another one of the bands that came up, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. I love the idea of Mickey's PhilharMagic coming to DCA. That's one of my favorite shows. It's probably my favorite 3D show in all of them. I love A Bug's Life. I love the Muppets and all, but I really love PhilharMagic. I'm just wondering, are they going to change this, or is it going to be a clone? Is it going to be the exact same thing, or are we going to have a different show? Brian, you're in there. I don't know if they said that or not.
I would guess that they're going to change it a little bit, and one of the reasons why is you have people that visit both parks. I don't want to go to Disneyland to experience the same rides I can just see in Disney World. You go to Disneyland to get a little bit of a different experience. So as long as they keep the tradition and the integrity of the ride together, I'm okay with them changing it, updating it with maybe some Moana songs or something like that. You know, some more classical stuff. But I'm okay with them changing a little bit as long as the whole concept remains the same.
Right. And if you notice, Mickey's PhilharMagic is basically all the movies from the Disney, what I call the Disney Renaissance era. You know, it's got Aladdin, it's got Beauty and the Beast, it's got Little Mermaid, it's got, you know, all them in there. So it's really neat. A lot of people in the chat, it's moving along. Let's talk strollers for a second. I have kids. I had kids. I went to Disney when I had little kids. Okay. First time we ever went to Disney, our oldest was 2, so we were there. I totally understand the point of the mega strollers having to be a band. And my opinion is it's because Disney understands that these parks are becoming more and more crowded, and they need the space.
And the people that bring these mega strollers in, not all of them, having to deal with multiple little bitty children all day long, sometimes don't really care who's in their way when they hit you with them. So,
well, it's true. It's true. It's part of the whole issue of the experience. The problem I have, and I don't want to get on a rant about people because, you know, there's as many great people in these parks that make for a nice experience as those who maybe are just there for themselves. But you're right. The last thing, it seems like sometimes I've had people who literally would run into you and just keep going with a stroller. And sometimes with the kids still in the stroller and sometimes not.
Well, and one of the most discourteous things that some of these people, and again, not all these people are bad people with these strollers. They just take up a lot of room. But one of the most discourteous things these people do is when you go to I got little youngins are always with me. When we want to watch a parade, they'll park their stroller sideways up against the rope and then take their kids out and let them stand on the rope too. So now they're taking up a whole bunch of space that with that stroller is not without the kids even being in it. So when other people could be sitting there and watching up at the rope with the young ones that can't see over it as well.
Right. And that's the thing. It's all about being courteous to others. Please understand that everybody wants to get there. We've all paid to get into these parks. All of us. Okay. We're all paying a premium to be here. We're all just as important as the next person. Look, I don't care if you're staying at Grand Floridian or if you're staying at
campgrounds.
We're all paying to get into these parks. And, you know, it's about the experience. And I think that hopefully Disney understands that and they really want to try to give us room. Now, if they really want to give us room, they could get us a 5th gate. That would be really nice. And I know we're running way over, guys. And I appreciate everybody hanging in there.
And if you don't care, well, I want to address something that I saw go by in the chat too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Unless they've changed something, everybody was talking about tripods. So unless they've changed something, and please let me know if they have, because I'm needing to know. They were talking about the security guards will try to stop you and ask you if the tripod extends. So they tried to do that to us in September. Disney's rules on the internet say as long as it can fold down and fit inside a normal backpack, you can carry it inside. So we had one of the security guards try to stop us as well. He tried to say you can't take this in. I was going through the bag line. My mom was just carrying that through the security guards. After I got through the bags, the security guard very rudely tried to keep it. Told me I didn't know what I was talking about. I pulled out my phone, showed it to him online. He said you cannot take this in here whatsoever. I'm not allowing it to happen. So I asked for a manager. The manager came over and looked at me. I showed her the thing on the phone. She said, "You're right. You can take it in." So you can take tripods that extend as long as closed up, they fit into a backpack. Now, the problem is the security guards don't get that information. I was asking the manager, why would he not know? She actually told me the security guards don't work for Disney, and they're guided to be able to take those things away. That because if everybody brings a tripod in, then they set them up. You're going to take up a lot of space. That's the same thing with the strollers. They're trying to reduce the space. Mm-hmm. Like you can have them, and you can even sometimes they'll ask you to keep them on one leg as opposed to letting it spread out all over the place with 3 legs or whatever. Right. And but in their laws or rules, unless they've changed it, it does say that you can carry it as long as it folds up and fits in a normal size backpack.
Cool. I want to go back to a little bit in the chat, but you're right. You're right, Steve. But I real fast on that. The security guards got to know. They got to know what is and can't communicate. Send out a memo.
Yep.
Send something. They got to know this stuff.
Even when I showed it to him, he didn't like it and he stopped me. So
yeah, well, that's because he didn't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
But Meg says in the chat, she says, she says, where is she says, I feel bad for bashing parents and their strollers since it is so rough taking kids to Disney. But just don't hurt people with your strollers. And if you do, just apologize. It's true. I mean, people will run you over and they don't even look. Just apologize. Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry about that. You do that, I'll move on and we're fine. So Meg makes a good point. The Lucky Minute says, I've gone to the parks with a stroller many times. You don't need a mega stroller. I get that too. I think a lot of times we try to carry too much into the parks. Mm-hmm. Dan says, I think there should be an age limit for strollers. I'm sorry, but a 5-year-old, when he was a 5-year-old walking around, he could walk around. And if his feet were tired, he would ask for a break. I totally understand that too. And they've said in the chat, sometimes it could see like a kid could be 8, 9 years old and he's in a stroller. What's he doing in a stroller? Get up and walk.
Yep. And another along those lines too, the people that don't need the scooters, mm-hmm. Why do they have them? It's because they don't want to walk around. Now, I'm not saying over time of the day or something they may need them, but we would witness when my last trip, we would have people that would take the scooter with them, but not use it, or take a wheelchair with them, but not use it, and just taking up more space. And then those people would be the ones that, get in the handicap line at the bus, that would jump on the bus first and then not even use the wheelchair, the stroller, whatever they got with them. Right. Scooter. So
Stacy makes a good point. Let me just interject. Stacy makes a very good point. Says the only thing I'll say about ages for strollers, you don't know if the child has special needs. Absolutely. Good point. Very good point. And you're right. And that's one of the things that we got to remember, is that there may be a special needs child there. I get that 100%. You're right. You just never know. But sometimes I hate to say you can tell, but sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. I mean, my nephew has cerebral palsy, and he is refined to a wheelchair for the rest of his life. He's very smart, but he just can't do anything else. He always needs help. So I get it. And Mick's right. I feel like we're bashing everybody, but don't get me wrong. Strollers are needed. Parents are there too. They spend their money. They're there to enjoy it as well. The last thing you want to have to do is carry a child around the whole time. Put them in the stroller. So I get it.
It's not a bashing thing. It's where Disney's making very good, very necessary changes to make everybody's experience a lot more enjoyable. And the ones that are the discourteous ones are the ones that need it the most, because they're the ones that's what we're, if you want to call it bashing, that's the ones we're bashing. The people that are rude, insensitive, and really don't care. And then I never even put the video out yet, but one of my vlogs on last time, if you can't come to Disney and be happy, don't come. You don't have any business being here if you're going to be miserable while you're here. Yeah. So there's no reason for people to be like that.
Yeah. And I think Dan makes a good point. There's a way to do that too. If you do have a child that has special needs, go to the guest services. Say, look, he has special needs. This is why I need this stroller. End of story. End of story. Have at it. Have a great time. We totally get you. Yep. That's all. That's it. I think they do that with other things. Dan made a good point with that. Special needs children should be given every opportunity to enjoy it just as much as the rest of us, to the best of their ability and with the most comfort for them, because we don't want to make them uncomfortable either. And if that's what it takes to give them a great experience, I'm all for it.
Yep, absolutely, 100% agree with you.
You know, oh my gosh, Meg said somebody left a dirty diaper on the tram one time. Who does that? I don't know, Meg. I don't.
The people that we're talking about are the ones that do that. So
I'm hoping they forgot. I mean, that's incredible.
Well, who changes their child on the tram? I mean, is that I don't have children, so is that a common thing?
What's that?
Who changes their child on the tram?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I am not against doing that. If my child has a bad one and it's everywhere, yeah, I'm going to have to go at it right then and there. Unless we're really close to getting off. But if we just got on and they just exploded, there may be something that has to be done. It's few and far between, but I get that. But you don't leave it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't leave it. That's exactly right. Just pick up after yourself.
Well, my biggest problem is if you're on the tram you're going to be with other people, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I think it's worse to. Well, don't get me wrong. Don't ever leave the baby in discomfort or anything like that. I'm not saying anything like that. But then you're going to be changing that with everybody else around you, smelling, feeling, seeing everything else that's going on there. Again, maybe it's going to be a long journey, and yeah, you don't want the child to be in discomfort. But I think that's extremely rare.
It is. I'll put it to you this way: if somebody's on that tram with me and their baby has a bad one, and you can visibly see it,
oh yeah,
I wouldn't have any issue with them. As a parent, I'd be like, "Do you need help?"
Yeah,
you know, I
get that.
I get, you know, those kind of things happen from time to time.
If we're just talking about a regular dirty diaper, though, I just don't see any reason why that has to be done in front of everybody.
I agree. Dougie's so funny. He says, we're talking about the worst of Walt Disney World here, but everyone remember, that would be Disneyland Paris on a good day.
Did you see what Dan put in?
What did he say?
We said we went from sports night where we were talking about baseball, throwing trees, dirty diapers, and having an awesome time.
I know. Dan, the only thing we haven't talked about is food, but I'm about to, because guess what? They have a new mac and cheese food truck that just opened down at Disney Springs. And I don't know if Dan knows about that, but it looks awesome.
I've not heard about that one.
Yep, it's a new food truck that just opened down there, Dan. Steve, you got to check it out, man. They do gourmet mac and cheese. It's called 6 cheese crunchy mac and cheese, barbecue brisket mac and cheese, bacon cheeseburger mac and cheese, chicken parmesan mac and cheese, and lobster and shrimp mac and cheese.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll be honest with you. And before I do, Stacy's point, she said, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't the trams take you to your car? The car you drove yourself to the park. Why not? Can you wait till you get your car? That was kind of where I was going at as well, Stacy. I don't want a child to be suffering by any means, but I just don't think it's that. And I know the parking lots are big. I just don't think it's that big, that long. But going back to the food, I got to be honest. I do not understand the obsession with all the mac and cheeses.
Really?
I don't get it. I love mac and cheese that I make here.
Right.
Every time I see mac and cheese at Disney, it looks like it's got plastic cheese on it. And I just don't understand. And then all of a sudden I don't eat seafood anyway, but throwing shrimp into it and throwing brisket and I don't understand the fascination with that. Now, I'm sure it's good, but for some people, I just don't get it.
I do. I love mac and cheese, and looking, I mean, whether it's Kraft mac and cheese or whether it's Melissa making her homemade mac and cheese, I love mac. Now, don't get me wrong, Melissa's is fantastic, but I love mac and cheese, and to add these other things to it, to me, I love it. I think it's a great idea. And to be honest with you, as I look at, now again, it's on the site, so they want to make it look appealing. Will it look like this when we get it? It's a different story, but it looks really, really good.
And so I guess for me, one of the things is the only mac and cheese I really see at Disney World is the buffet mac and cheese, because nobody in my family really orders it. So I don't see necessarily, all I see is pictures. But yes, Dan, and I am open. Dan just put, Steve, my friend, August, I'm changing your life. I am open to doing everything new for the first time, except for seafood, because it will make me sick. I'm doing eating, rides. I'm going to go in with a whole new perspective, and we're going to see if we can change my opinions on some things. Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's fantastic. I am such a picky eater, and I'm kind of a scared eater. I call myself a scared eater because I'm scared to try new stuff because first off, I don't want to waste the money.
Yep.
Second off, I don't want the experience to be bad. And third off, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know you say you're picky, but I would almost guarantee I'm probably pickier than you. I know that's hard to believe, but I like what I eat, and I eat a lot of what I like, but I don't do, like you're talking about, Mac, I don't like my stuff mixed together. I like everything away from it. I love cheese. I love cheese. I can't stand cheese on a hamburger.
Really?
My hamburger is bun, hamburger, ketchup, bun. That's what my hamburgers are. I can eat bacon on a hamburger, but I can't do cheese on any of my sandwiches. And again, they don't touch. My food doesn't touch when I put it on my plate.
Meg says you're going to gain about 10 pounds in August. And Dan says only 10?
So that's funny you said that, because last year when we went, we did a dining plan and we ate like kings. I mean, buffet after buffet after buffet. I weighed the exact same amount the day I got home as the day I left, because all of the walking that we did, I'm assuming, just burned it all off.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, part of that is the case. I know that when we go, Melissa's she gets very diety before we leave. Like, she's already started. She's already down 8 pounds, and she'll get in great shape just before we go to Disney. And then she'll eat like crazy when we get to Disney. So, and me, I'm just the opposite. I'm always out of shape. But she's just phenomenal with that. And then you're right, she'll go and she'll gain 10 pounds, and she don't care because she's there to eat.
Disney calories don't count, as Meg put in there. So
yeah, I think Dan said that too. Dan said, I'm going to gain and I don't care. Well, you know what? Again, when it comes to this kind of stuff, you're going there for the experience. And for some people, it's the rides. Some people, it's the shows. Some people, it's the food. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of people, it's become more about the food than it is about the other stuff. Yep. I mean, how often do you see dining reviews now? They're all the time.
And I got to be honest with you, I love planning. I'm like Meg. Planning is another vacation for me. It's part of the rite of passage to do it. The food preparation 180 days in advance is my favorite thing to do. I'm like Dan. I love to eat. I love food. I don't try as many things by any means as you guys do, but the food is great. And even the Sanaa, as soon as we picked all of our stuff, we're eating that Sanaa, the 28th of that, the bread service. The first thing I did is I went in there, looked at the bread service. I go, oh, I'm not going to like that, but I'm going to try it. And I'm not going to like that, but I'm going to try it. So, you get all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be fun. I'm going to try a lot of new things and see, get past like you. I'm scared to try new things, but I'm going to do it on buffets and some other things. And with the dining plan, it's a little easier than if you were just shelling out money out of your pocket, which you are. You just do it in advance.
Yeah. Meg says planning is such a joy. It is. It's part of the fun of a Disney trip is planning. More than any other trip I take, planning the Disney trip is fun. It's part of the trip. And Dougie says for him, food is 75% of his Disney holiday. And it is. It's such an important part of it because you're going there with such high expectations on good food and great experience and great service that it all has to come together. And you make it a priority.
Yep. And Stacy asked me when my other trip was. I'm assuming you're talking about the surprise trip we might take without letting some of the family members know. And that'll be the day after Christmas, I think. So if we do it, we're not sure yet if we're going to do it yet.
Dan says the thing is with food, I have to go to this place called the gym. It's awful.
You said that. I just got my gym membership today. So I used to be a gym rat all the time, used to be in the gym nonstop. Obviously, I quit that when I broke my ankle, but I signed back up today. So hoping to get back in shape.
Oh, my gosh. Well, hey, I agree. I wish I could find the energy and the motivation to do it myself. I really do. Kay Atwood says she thinks her and Meg are the only ones not going in August. Well, you could change that.
Yeah, it's really, just go to DisneyWorld.com and hit the
reservations. Yeah, this trip, absolutely. John says, "Ooh, octopus." I guess. Oh, Chris said I tried octopus for the first time at Disney. Could be my last, also.
And when I was younger, I was adventurous with food. I've tried just about every kind of fish there is. I've tried shark, I've tried squid, I've tried snails, I've tried octopus. I can't stand any of it. It makes me sick. All of it does.
Including, really? So you're not a seafood guy at all?
I can't eat seafood at all. We have a guy at work that cooks fish once a week, and when he does, I get really reflexes pretty bad. Sure. Where I shut the door and put on I had to buy a oil diffuser to put in my room for when he cooks fish. So.
Okay. Yeah. See now, and I love seafood. Crab cakes. Of course, Maryland's known for crab cakes, and I love crab cakes. I love shrimp. I love all that stuff. But the thing about it is, I won't have a crab cake down in Disney because it's not Maryland crab. Oh. So I'm not having it because I know it's not going to be good or not as good.
He asked me if I've ever had camel.
No.
I can't say I have. So.
No, I don't think I ever will either, Dougie, to be honest with you. I am not one of those bizarre eats kind of guys. Not at all. Yeah. I'm sorry. I hate to say it.
Yeah, you and I will be just perfect when we're eating together.
It's true. I mean,
so.
Well, here's the thing with me. I trust Melissa wholeheartedly. I mean, it's 24 years of marriage, so I better. But I know she's going to pick something good for me. She knows my palate, as minimal as it is. She knows she'll be like, you'll like this. You may not love it, but you'll like it. You'll eat it. Or that's what she'll say. You'll eat this. So I get it. It's going to be difficult, but I'm hoping to try some new things as well.
Well, there was only one on our August, on all the meals I have. I booked 12 different meals, sit-down meals. And the only one that I was being way adventurous with that I had no intentions of, I know I won't like half of it, but that is, I was going to the new Artist Point fixed menu. I already know that I don't like any of the 3 appetizers. I already know because I've had them before. I've not had Disney's, but I know I couldn't even take a second bite of any of the ones I've tried. I only know I'm only going to like one of the entrees, and that's the prime rib. It's one of those, I keep talking about the stars aligning for our trip, Galaxy's Edge Open and everything. That was the day I had scheduled when we moved to when Galaxy's Edge opens, and we moved the reservations over to Hollywood Studios that day. So I had to I got rid of the Artist Point one that I had on there. So the rest of mine, though, I'm not nervous about at all trying to eat those.
Yeah. It's funny. Brandy and Dave and Stacy are all saying we need to get together for crab cakes. I'm telling you, man, there's nothing like a Maryland crab cake. Nothing. And Stacy and Brandy and Dave, I think you guys are close enough that you probably know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've had crab cakes before. There's nothing like a Maryland crab cake. It's just fantastic. Just like Maine lobster is fantastic. There's nothing like, or a Philly cheesesteak is fantastic.
Is it the crab cakes or the crab in general?
Either one to me, but crab cakes are phenomenal. I mean,
we took, again, I don't like seafood. We went to, first time we ever went 5 years ago, I think not the first time I went to Disney, but went to Cape May Cafe. I don't know if you've ever eaten there. That is a seafood buffet. My parents, that's their favorite restaurant. We did it, but me and my niece cannot stand it. They didn't have very much at all besides seafood. So now it became every time we go, we have one date night where my parents go there, and then me and my niece will try something different around somewhere else in Disney World. But they have to eat there every time we go. It is their favorite restaurant.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
but they eat those crab legs in buckets. So,
where was it? Is this Flying Fish?
No, it's Cape May Cafe.
Oh, Cape May. Yes, that's another one of the ones I want to try. Absolutely. Cape May is
food. You will love it.
Yep. I also want to try Olivia's. Dan, I don't know, Dan or Meg or anybody else in the chat, let me know. Have you tried Olivia's yet? Steve, have you?
I've not tried it yet.
I want to definitely try Olivia's. They talk about the oh my gosh, we're way over tonight. We're gonna stop in a minute, guys. I promise. But Olivia's, they talk about the fried chicken like it's heavenly over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I don't know. I sorry, I'm just looking at the when Dave is here, we'll make him so hungry. Brandy and Dave love Cape May Cafe. There you go.
See you, Meg. Meg's got to go.
Meg, that's all right. We're getting ready to get off ourselves. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. But well, look, guys, I won't hold anybody. I think Meg, that's a good segue. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We had a lot of good talk tonight. I know for Steve and I,
yes,
we enjoyed the baseball conversation, and we appreciate everybody else at least pandering to us for a little while. We appreciate that.
We turned it into some Disney though, so that was a good thing. Everybody got to hear a little bit.
Well, I didn't really bring it up with you beforehand, but I did want to talk about some of those subjects because they're important. We didn't really, I haven't really gone over them, and there's some big news, you know?
Yeah. I actually have them all written down. Everything. I was going to talk about them on Monday before I went to my, before I did my bracket. So I'm glad we got to talk about them because I didn't have much time with my bracket running over. Okay,
gotcha. John, take care. But everybody, we're going to head out. I appreciate everybody for being here again. Thank you to my partner channel, Steve. Steve, I hope you had a good time tonight. I thought this was wonderful. It was great.
Yeah, I had a blast as always, man. I'm glad we're doing this.
Yep, it's a lot of fun, folks. Don't worry, everybody. We're going to get to your sport. Even if it's something I may not know that well, I'll just sit back and listen to you guys when you come on as special guests for your sports, whether it's tree throwing or hockey or football or soccer, or I know it's not soccer over there, or rugby. We're going to talk about it all as the weeks progress. But Steve, go ahead and promote your channel real fast while we got a lot of folks still in here.
All right, yeah, we're now on the live place. We're live on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Thank you. We are. I'm really getting addicted to live streaming. This is great. But Monday night we still kind of trying to finalize a name. I got another couple good ones tonight, so we're going to come up with that. Get on the live place, and then this Monday we are doing the second half of the first round of our 128 Disney song bracket. It'll last the next two more weeks after this one too. And then I actually have a calendar. We talk about planning. I have spreadsheets and calendars for everything I do for Disney. I have a calendar where I've actually started penciling in for the rest of the year all the subjects we're going to talk about and when we're going to talk about them. But I'm going to leave some holes open in case I need to move something around. But nice. So yeah, we got some good stuff coming up.
Absolutely, absolutely. But thank you to everybody in the chat tonight. There's so many people. I don't even know if I can name them all. Stacy Rogers, Kay Atwood, Brandy and Dave, The Lucky Minute, John Hazelton, Disney Dan, thank you. Meg was in here. Brian Eisenhart, of course, was in here. Who did I miss? Gosh, there's so many people.
Here.
Who?
Chris with DWA.
Oh, yeah, actually, Dougie, Walter Grahams was in here. We had so many people in here tonight. It's such a pleasure to have you. Did I say Kay Atwood? I don't know if I did or not, but Kay, thank you. It's so much fun when we have so many people in here. It makes it that much more enjoyable. And before you know it, you're an hour and 40 minutes into it when you're only supposed to go an hour.
And it's really special that you guys hang with us through something you may not even enjoy talking about that much. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, it's what makes this community so much fun. And for me, I know this is going to sound corny, but it makes me feel special that you would hang in on something that you may not be that passionate about because you're supporting it. And that means a lot. It definitely does.
Absolutely.
Yep. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Please leave a lick before you leave, as Brian likes to say. Give us that thumbs up. It definitely helps. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back next Saturday. Not sure just yet what we're going to talk about. Steve and I will get over that, talk about that soon, but we'll definitely. Hey, Angela, welcome in. That's all right. I appreciate you just listening. Thank you. We appreciate it. But thank you again, everybody. Have a great night. And please take care of yourselves and each other. And we'll talk to everybody really, really soon. Take care, everybody.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.